Now, um, right now I am printing. I don't know whose model it is, but it it gonna take 100 hours, which I want you guys to go back and check your print again one more time. Try to reduce the size of the model itself if after you slice and took and takes more than 80 hours. So try to limit to 50 hours max. What you can do is basically you need to print smaller size, that's all. So because if it's 100 hours, that is about 5 to 6 days, which we can't afford it because we got quite a numbers of people. So, okay, so can you guys recheck your model? I know that Tyler, your model is 100 something hours to print. So you're gonna have to rescale in Megabot. Rescale the size to make it smaller, and then check see if you can limit to like maybe 50 hours, that would be great. Otherwise, that would take a week. Okay. So try to keep it in like 3 days to no more than 3.5 days or 4 days. Okay. Today, let's see. We're gonna cut the boot sole. There we go. Like this, and then make the shoes layers. So now the bottom of the shoe sole is really easy actually, but the thing is this is such a basic design. So now if you are not showing the bottom of the shoes, you could just go with the basics, but I will show you how to do it. Show you how to make it a little more elaborated. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring back my original, and then I'm gonna turn off my that. Here we go. So we're gonna start it with this. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on solo. Oops, I was in the wrong place. I'm gonna Alt and click on the object that I wanted to edit. I can turn on solo. So right now it's solo. Okay. You could just start it. What I did with these though, let me turn this off. Let me explain a little bit about how I did with this one. With this one, let me solo it. Okay. Oh, here we go. So basically, I duplicate the shoe sole, and then I create a different geometry, and I use Boolean to subtract. So that's the easy one. Okay. So now let's do it together, or you can just watch. It's fine too. Okay. I'm gonna turn off my sub tool, the one that I don't want to see, those that I do not. Okay, that's all I need. So now I'm gonna do the first option first, the basic, the easy one. So I'm gonna duplicate this so that I have backup, and I'm gonna turn off one of them. And on here, I'm gonna insert geometry that I wanted to use for subtract. So insert cube, there we go. And I'm gonna scale it down. So I'm gonna make a either strip or depends, we'll see. There we go. Let me look at on the bottom. Oh, yeah. Here we go. scale a little bit. Okay, I can make it longer. Let's do something basic like what I did. There you go. And basically, you laid it out how much you wanted to cut in, something like that. And you could, I'm going to switch to modify, and we can change the initial geometry, so that is a little easier. I forgot to do that. Right now it's 2 on 2, so I'm going to do that. QQ, let's reset it a little bit, and then I'm going to hold Alt click to center into the unmasked section, unmasked selection. There you go. Let me scale it again. The reason that I want to do this is I forgot, because I want a less geometry like this, so that I can form the shape if I need it. In this case, pretend I do need it. Here we go. So, and then I can move. Now I'm going to use a move infinite, so that I can form the shape a little bit. I'm going to make it a little wider. There we go. And switch to scale again one more time. So how about something like this? That's a little too, here we go. Okay. So now if I hold Control key and drag, I duplicate it. So, and I keep holding Control key so that I can add 2 more. And you kind of try to space it out. Now, what if you want to edit, like moving reposition? If you do Control click, Control drag, and then Control click to mask all, and then you hold Control key, change your masking tool to a lasso, and then you can do lasso, or you can do rectangle. So I kind of try to unmask, turn on move to, you can alt click, and then you can reposition it. So if you want, you can turn on a, oh, well, never mind. So just eyeballing it. When you're done, you can deselect by, unmask by Control drag. Now I can move them around as needed, or I can even scale a little bit. Here we go. Now, I forgot, I should have, yeah, I did forget. So, but anyway, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mask, change to rectangle, and I'm gonna mask only this section. I just want to that point, alt click. Now, let's see if it works. Can you see? I can do this. Form the shape. I should have do it for, earlier. So, I mean, I should have do the original one before I duplicate it. I forgot. So, never mind. So just manually doing it. And there we go. So now, what if this section, I wanted to do something different? Okay, I want to do something different on that section. So this is done. I'm going to use that to cut. So this time, let's do something different. I'm going to create a square and then go all around to that shape. So to do that, I'm going to alt-click to the sole. I'm going to turn on polyframe off for a little bit. And let's use a topology brush. Press T, and right there. We used this before, if you remember. So basically, you draw curve. Here we go. And then you keep draw all around. So when you do on your own, just take a little bit of time to draw. It doesn't have to be perfect, because if you don't use tablet, use mouse, it will be a little harder, but it's doable. See, I do it a little quick. No, I shouldn't. So basically, I'm going to draw the topology grid. And it doesn't have to be perfect, guys, because we're going to convert them into polygon. And then we're going to manually move until we like the shape. So, and you just decide something like this. 1, 2. Now we get that polygon. And I'm going to just do like this. Oops. You might need to undo. Make sure you draw the not working on that one. Here we go. What? Might have to adjust. Oh, that line caused it. Alt click. Oh, shoot. No, sorry. You might need to zoom in. Change the brush size a little smaller, because that's what caused the problem. So I'm going to alt drag to subtract this. Click. Let me delete them for temporary. And then you just connect it. Basically, if there's section that is overlapped, that caused the problem. Here we go. Now it's come back. So I might have to zoom in. That one doesn't work. I'm going to undo. So this is the problem. Here we go. That another problem. Okay. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to subtract that. Alt click. Here we go. I'm going to delete that line, and then I'm going to redraw it. It just take your time when you redraw. If it doesn't work, it means your curve are not overlapped correctly, or there's a multiple curve on top of the other. So, and at this stage, you don't have to make it perfect, because we're going to move them around later. And now I'm going to add another curve. I could do this first. Started to get a little curve there. I should have make them line up better, but that's okay. So now zoom in a little bit. Can you see this might cause a problem? So alt click. Oops. If alt drag might be quicker, might be better. Oh, here we go. No. Here we go. Just get rid of the axis, and then now I can connect this to there. Right there. I better to do it all the way quicker. Oh, come on. Here we go. And then I can connect this. If it doesn't work, alt drag. Get rid of that axis. And then redo it again. This is a little hard to get connect, because I do it too bad. It's okay. Here we go. At least I got that shape. So when I got something like this, I think I'm gonna, let me cut, we can cut later. Okay, so now when we're ready, make the brush a little smaller, like 1, so that there's no thickness on it. And then, oh, oh, come on, what am I doing? Oh, how did I move that? Well, hey guys, so alt click on the surface. Somehow when I make the brush thinner, it doesn't work. So I have to do like about 2 to 3. So now when I turn on polyframe, I will see something like this. Now, let's isolate. Solo. Oh, wait. So I think I can't do solo. Now, I'm going to switch to another brush. And then I'm going to have to subtract, not subtract, split this apart. So under split, split 2 parts. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to turn that off. So now I'm going to highlight this section. It's turned black. Let's turn on wireframe. We're going to have to get rid of some surface. So let me move this back. Move brush. Move that in. Let's use topology brush. Move topology so that it doesn't, it based on the location of our cursor. So basically I am moving this outside a little bit, outward, so that it places it on the bottom of the shoes sole. Something like this. Okay. So now I'm going to turn on solo. What I want you to do next is delete the face. So Control Shift and click to hide the surface from the bottom and then the surface on the side. We want just only this one. So that's easy to manipulate it before we get rid of some of the surface more. We're going to get rid of the section in between. So, but before that, we need to edit them. After you hide it, see it's single surface, and I turn on a under display property, my double is on. So that's why I can see this. Okay. So now go to geometry, and then you click modify topology, delete hidden. Now you can unsolo. So at this moment, just redesign. Now, if you need to have more span, you use Z modeler, move your cursor over on the edge, right click, and then you choose insert single edge loop, so that you can click on the edge to add edge loop as needed. Can you see? I can do it like that. There you go. I'm not going to add it yet. I'm going to move them around. So move topology brush, and like this section, I probably want to have a little more curve. So I'm going to do insert, right click on the edge, turn on Z modeler, right click, insert, okay, and then click on the edge. I'm going to add a little bit. So that's it for now, so that you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to move to form this. Here we go. Just to form it. Okay. So my idea is this. When I get the shape form correctly, I'm gonna subtract to give the gap so that I can extrude all the geometry and then connect them. So this one I will use for subtraction. This one used for addition. So at the moment, let me form the basic shape first before I add more section. I add that section because I want you to see what is my plan. But before go to that detail, I better to get the overall area. You can still delete some edge if you want. Make sure you turn on Z modeler, move over a edge, and can you see it said Alt delete edge? So I can hold Alt key to subtract. See that? I can do like this, Alt subtract. So when you move things in the lower polygon, it's faster. So I'm going to focus on a low level of the polygon first before I add detail. Okay. Oop. Right. Make sure you turn on a polyframe so that you can see the line. If you turn it on, you can't see it. Let me change a Z modeler, subtract, get rid of some so that I can edit them quicker. Oop, I need to keep that right there. There we go. Hey guys, in this technique, you can actually use a cube and then use the technique like what I did, a control drag with the move tool. You're gonna get a similar result. So I just want to show a variety of technique so that you can adopt them to whatever you need. Because some of you may be not comfortable with working with the topology like now. Prefer to just use a basic geometry, combine them, which perfectly fine, nothing wrong with it, as long as you get a result that you plan it to do. So, like the tool and technique, it's just a technique and tool, but the execution, that's what you need to pay attention on. I'm gonna cut more, insert, there we go, one there, switch to move brush, and move. And on this section, you want it to be kind of offset inside, like inner of the base of the base shape of the sole, so that they won't come out. There we go. Let me pretend that I like this. Okay. Oh, that one. Make it bigger. You can use a bigger brush to move in a big chunk. Okay. I think I need this section to be more geometry. Come on. So we're gonna add. Okay, let's say I like it. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on the modeler, right click on the surface, and I want to delete single poly. So I'm gonna delete that. Can you see it like this? Oh, put it the wrong, here we go. So I am do it quick, so when you do on your own, you decide a little better than mine, okay? Again, pretend I like that. Okay. So it look like this. Now, while I'm on the modeler, I'm gonna right click again on the surface, the quad. This time I'm gonna use extrude right there. And I'm going to do all polygon because I want to extrude all of them. So let me right click again to check one side, step side. Here we go. So now I'm going to go to the side here and I'm going to start it to, you might have to angle it up. Here we go, like that. You might want to make it a little longer than supposed to because we can trim them. Let me undo, make it longer. Here we go. And then I'm going to use a move brush. Move entire it. Here we go. So that they dip in. Okay. Make some adjustment. Here we go. And then now I have to check on the side view. See they are the same level because they may not. Turn on a floor. I might have to turn on a, right now it's Y, let's do X also so that we can see the line. Because there are other objects, somehow the floor is, let me go back here. I think it's okay for now because we can trim it off a little bit later. Okay, so I'm going to turn off floor, check the geometry. Now my geometry is, let me alt click on there. I think it's turned black because it's reverse. I think this might cost me something. Hold on. If it reverse, I'm gonna have to fix. So I'm gonna hide them. I'm gonna lock them first and then subtract only this section, so that I can move only that one. You don't see the color because mine is normal is flip. Let me go back to the, see if I can flip normal. So under modify topology, normal reverse. Let's see, position. One moment, guys. Close hole spinning. Let me try Q mesh. If there's a reversal or inverse. One moment. I don't remember where's the flip normal is. Polygon mesh, position, mesh integrity. I don't remember. Let me try to convert these to Dynamash, see if it helped to fix. I'm gonna do 1000, a little high detail. Does it work? No. Oh. Hold on. Yes. Okay. Let me try. Still black. Why is black? Something incorrect on this. It's the normal. Nothing else. Let me move them first. Hold on. So right now it's Dynamash. Let me lock that. Chance to move to. I just mask them and then I'm gonna unmask. Press move to. So I can move that in. I want it to be inside there, not out. Actually, guys, if you want it to be masked, we can do that actually. We can make it a little outside and then we can trim it. So let's do that, trim. So now mask again and unmask only that. You might need to switch to Q. Move. I'm gonna make it overlap a little bit. Mask, oop. Unmask, Q, mask, and then oh. Oop, there are two of them somehow, or three. Here we go. Let me unmask that. I forgot, I want it to be overlap a little bit. I just switch between Q and W. Move, switch, I can reset that. Q, unmask, mask everything, and subtract. Move, reset. Here we go. Okay, so now, with this still on, I'm going to press Q. We can start it to, let me turn, go to the bottom line, bottom again. I can start it to trim. So Control Shift, click, and clip curve. There we go. And then I'm going to clip. So. Oh man, I can't tap Alt. It's really, sometimes it does that. It depends on the screen redraw. Control Shift. When you started to cut, you tap Alt. See, I can't tap Alt. I think the seems like a screen problem. And some of you may not have the problem like what I had. So if you don't, you can just keep clipping. So in this case, oh gosh, I'm gonna moving instead because I can't clip it. I should be able to, but I can let go for now. Let merge them and then I'll figure it out how to cut it again. So right now, we're going to start it to trim this section first. That two things. So I'm going to go to the sole. Let's turn everything off except these two together. And I'm going to turn on live Boolean. Nothing happened. So right now the sole is union. We want these 3 panels to subtract, so we'll switch to subtract, and it look like this. So now when it's become like this, we need to execute the Boolean. So go to geometry, look under Boolean, and make Boolean mesh. You will create a new surface outside. It's called U-mesh. It's union mesh. So now turn off live Boolean, and then you will hide this sole and that object. So when I select, this will come out. So now I'm going to append that U-mesh. You can append or insert. It's fine. Here we go. So it looks like this. So this is a object mesh that has been cut, a Boolean it. Turn on wireframe on polyframe, and it will look like this. It needs to be redata mesh. Can you see? Because it's a dense geometry of the data mesh and a optimized geometry. So we're gonna have to redata mesh this. So I go to that insole, the U mesh insole, look for geometry. I'm gonna turn on really high. Last time I used 1,000, so I'm gonna use 1,000. Redata mesh. There we go. So now the mesh looks okay. So I'm gonna turn off polyframe. If you feel like these sections are too soft, just use soft brush. And then soft this. That's too much. I'm going to use 15. I'm going to soft the sole, the detail a little bit, because it's too sharp. It doesn't look like a rubber. Okay. So now we're going to redata mesh with this part. So I'm going to have to move that really close to the subtool that I just import, the U-mesh one. Here we go. So right now I put it below. So we're going to merge this down. So merge down, click OK. And I'm going to redata mesh because I want them to be a single surface. And this time still 1,000, that's good. There we go. So, and now, I don't know what is that black. I hope that you don't get that. I'm going to fix this later. So right now, at this moment, what you can do is, if your clip curve doesn't work, so let me go to the top view again. So I'm going to try to clip it. If it doesn't work, I'm going to have to use another brush to deal with. So, yep, see, my Alt key doesn't work. It happens sometime. I'm not sure what it is. It's probably what is called OpenGL problem or tablet driver conflict with the mouse. Okay, so what I can do though, I can use a edge polish and trim dynamics to get rid of that. Here we go. And let me check again. Solve it first. And let me turn it on. Here we go. I think it might be the texture. Let me try it. Okay. That's a really strange. Okay, I think it's a texture. Oh, it's polyframe. Okay. No, poly paint. It was on. Here we go. Sorry guys. I don't know what I did. I think I did poly paint by accident. So right now I'm gonna just have to trim it. That's all. Trim. And smooth. It's gonna take a little bit of. I could do clay buildup to fill it back. No, I wanted to trim it. It's too bad I can't use that trim curved clip. I might be able to just do like this. There we go. You know, like just a little bit of it. That's not too bad. Here we go. It's just because my alt tab doesn't work. If it's worked for you, great. Use it, guys. Don't avoid using it. See, I'm going around a little bit now. And I can fill it up by add Alt key instead on the area that kind of indents in, and then just trim. See that? Okay. That's not great, but you got an idea. Okay. Yep. Just use Alt key and trim to help to fill it up. Fill the surface back up. And then you can soften it, fill it up. So it's gonna just take a little bit of time, but that's how you get the detail. I hope this helped. Okay. It's going to take a little bit of time for me to get this right. There we go. Okay, and that's how you make this section. And I'm gonna have to take some time to get this to get this look good. I think maybe that's it for today. Let's do shoelace on Thursday, because so that you get a little time to play around with it, only to make a good looking sole. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the record. And anybody have any questions? See, I just hold Alt key and just try to add. Like this area, I'm gonna have to zoom in, make it smaller, and oops. Oh, and then trim too much. Let me soften it. Here we go. I make that mistake there when I cut it. Gonna have to trim it out, re-dynamash. Here we go. It's gone. I did it too much again. So trim it. Read it a mash, soften it, until you get what you need. And this section we can try pinch. Oh, hold on, let's use a edge polish. It's better. Just fill it up so that they become a little straight line, and then you trim it. Fill it and trim it. Fill it back and trim it off. Okay, something like that. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Trim it. I'm gonna, like I said earlier in the past, that if you don't have a tablet pen, you're gonna have to really work a little more work than normal with changing the intensity on each brush when you try to do a little subtle soften things and such. I want to fill that back. Let's see. Okay. And this section I could move. Grace with a really edge polish really low. Grace. Not perfect. I mean, if I really want it to be a little better, I can convert this to low topology and then manually moving, like when we work with a Maya software, we could do that. Because right now we are working as a freehand. That's why it's straight line is going to be a little hard, but doesn't mean you cannot. It just takes too much time. I'm going to move that. There you go. Something like this. Okay. For now, let me stop. I forgot to save. Hey guys, save often. If it crashed, like 2 hours gone. Okay, something like this, and I can add more detail if I want to. I'm going to continue to work this later on. So next section will look a little bit better. Right now, this is what I wanted. Turn everything on. That one, what else? Okay. And I turn on the wrong one, I think. That's the new one. Okay, that's the one. Oh, no, this is the one. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna render this out. Let's see. PBR. There we go. And screen capture. All right, I'm not gonna do screen cap. Shift, here we go. And I can do file under texture, I think. Where's my texture? Texture and grab dock. Here we go. And then now I grab it into the texture and I'm gonna just save this, export that texture, and then I'm going to put as a JPEG. So it will be my progress. So it will be progress 2. Okay, so that's what I want to capture. Let's make it smaller. Okay. All right, so I will put the video inside D2L